In this video, I'm going to cover 5 currently live crowdfunding campaigns and just give some general opinions and discussions on the games and the campaigns that they are running themselves. Hello, Board Game Shenanigans here. So just to get right into it, the first game I'm going to look at is League of Dungeoneers expansion and second print. So League of Dungeoneers, I've heard about it before now, and generally it's another dungeon crawl style game which has, like rooms in the dungeon that make as you go, and then it randomizes itself, and then you go through the next, not through the next room, kill the enemies, not through the next room, and so on. Normal type of dungeon crawl that's heavily influenced from RPGs and very similar to other dungeon crawl board games out there as well. This one's done alright so far. It's got about 3,000 backers and just under 400,000 euros. It's pretty well done so far. I do like the look of the game. It is quite a long play session, estimated like 3 hours ago, which is quite a deep game to get into. I wasn't too sure about getting another like dungeon crawl personally, as I have got games like Teneris Adventures and Chronicles of Drunagor to play through quite a lot, and more content for those games down the line also. So for me, there's quite a lot of so many different dungeon crawls out there that a lot of times when they're coming out, I'm like passing up on them simply because there's so many out there now. It's like there's one all the time. A game like this, it harkens back to like older games like Warhammer Quest and things like that. But there is quite a lot of these games coming out these days. This one, it's mainly a solo co-op experience where you play through different missions and things that they've like generated. There's a few campaigns involved. You could do like one-shot quests, but there's quite a lot of these days that I'm like there's too many to see. There's I think around this time last year there was Dungeon Universalis, and that game is very similar to this one. A game with gives you the boards, it gives you the standees, and then like components and a rule book to play the game really. And it's another game like that, and they're very similar. And every time I see one, I'm really interested in it. Similar to like Shadows of Brimstone was quite recently as well. I see all these games and then I'm like, well, it's quite a lot to invest into, and then I never actually back any of them because there's so many. This one, it's a true sandbox game offering countless hours of crunchy, exciting exploration, tactical combat, character growth, and dungeon crawling. And that sounds okay. But every time I see the word like sandbox game, I get very on it, because sandbox itself, everyone uses this term in like video games, and they always misappropriate that term. They call it a sandbox game when it is not. So people say, oh yeah, well, Far Cry is a sandbox game, and I go, in a video game sense, I say no, it isn't, because sandbox to me means it's like an actual sandbox in like real life. Like you're a child in a sandbox playing with sand, building what you want. But a lot of these other games, they don't have that. That's not the selling point. They might have a map creator or something. That's the sandbox, not the actual game. And they do that with video games a lot, and now they're doing it with board games a lot more. And this one, it's saying that in this sense, but it isn't saying build your own quests, build your own missions. So there's no sandbox selling point for this game. I think Dungeon Universalis covered it a lot better. It was saying how you create missions, but this campaign itself doesn't really state this is how you build your own quest and you build your own dungeon. It's kind of just, no, there's pre-built, they're randomly generated with the cards and reveal rooms as you do. They don't say this is how you can make it yourself. So they're selling it on the sandbox point, but for me, I think that's the wrong term they're using. I think that they're saying that as a way that you have more freedom to do what the game can allow you to do, not that you are building the game yourself. You're building your own missions, which other games might sell you on, which it's just one of those little niggles, really. Like, it should be a bit more selling into the sandbox, but this game doesn't. And I'm sure you could probably build your own quests and things in here and your own dungeons, but this campaign doesn't really cover that side of it from what I'm seeing. But the game does look like pretty cool, but the part of it is there is standees, so someone who's into miniatures, it's like, you use your miniatures from other games rather than using these ones if you want to use minis. But standees they're passable, they're fine. It's just quite a lot of them then, and then if you're actually using them, you're sifting through all the ones you got to find the right enemies, because there's 100 monsters. Well, how many standees? Are quite a lot of standees in there. Another thing I noticed in this campaign, they don't actually do a good job at showing what you get, I guess, because that's the image that you have here at the top, which has all the different punch boards there stacked up. I would like it if they did one where it was like a tick list of each thing they've got. So like, you get one rulebook, you get 400 of this card, 100 of this card, this many sheets, this bag, this many standees, and then just show them off like a scroll type of thing. Like, but instead they just kind of got, boom, one image, you have to squint to see what it actually shows you, and then they go through different parts of the game rather than actually showing what you're buying. And I think that sometimes people want to just see what you're buying, what you're getting for your money. I know that it's important to explain the game and things about it, but you do need to show what you're selling too, where 23 tiles, well, you don't see all the tiles, so you're just going on the number there, but it's not like well told. Like, it should just say 23 this type of size tile, this type of size tile, or something like that. That would be a much easier way to see what I'm buying, really. They do say there's new characters, like this duck one here. It's pretty cool. And then they're going to go and discovering like some of the new stuff, but that's about it. They don't really go through this is what you're buying, which another campaign might do, and I think that's better when they actually show you every individual item. But it is a cool game. I do think it looks good, but like I say, it's just there's so many dungeon crawls I've got to play already. It's just one I've just kind of, I passed up on Dungeon Universalis as well for similar reasons. I've got other dungeon crawls, and then this one kind of fell to the side as well. I think that how many different ones they've got, I'm not sure how many I can actually afford to buy at this point. So they go through reviews, different videos people have made. Rob, of course, really good channel. Rob's Tabletop World, one of my main ones I watch from this list, I think. Shipping is here as well, seems okay. UK for me, it's quite fair, between 10 and 30 generally, depending on what you're getting. And then the VAT not included, which it does stay here, which I always have to think about, and that's a lot more on top. But then they go through the designers, and for some reason this page has the pledges at the bottom. I think we're better off to put these higher up usually, but they're down here. 175 euros for pretty much everything, which I think that's quite fair, to be honest. Pretty good deal. Upgrade kit for people, 15 euros. Quite a lot of people come back for more. New expansion, I think that there's some early bird ones down here, that's why a lot of these ones later no one's really come, so everyone who wanted it has come like the first few days when it was early bird, but missed out on that now, so the discounts are gone. But they were only a few euros here or there for most of these pledges, so it's still worth it to get it now. Just the actual game, 15 have come back after the early bird. Early bird, there was 82, and then this is like most of all the extras, but not the all in. I think, is it just not the new expansion? I think this one. So 5 people, and then early bird 39, and then at the very bottom you got the early bird for the all in, which actually quite a lot went for. So there's quite a lot of new people on board, so they've done quite well with that, actually convincing new people to come in. They've got these super deluxe sets as well on top at the very end. So the stretch goals are pretty good. I think that they're actually quite real, because you've got increased art, budget and things like that. So instead of throwing out some more cards and things like that, they've actually upgrading the actual quality of the game. Larger cards, larger rule book, better art, more money on the art, things like that. So they actually are trying to enhance the experience rather than just, here's a few extra cards we cut out and now we're going to say they're a stretch goal like it's fake. So yeah, so that's that campaign. Overall I think it looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'll be able to back it, maybe in the future. sometimes with these I like to wait until they go to the late pledge, and then I can drop in the shipping and VAT altogether, rather than paying some now and then being shocked down the line. I think that's better sometimes to wait on. So to move on to the next game is Mycelia, the strategic mushroom game, and this one I caught my eye because it was quite interesting with the art, with the mushroom style. I think that anytime people try and attempt these like new designs where they kind of like an educational style game where they're throwing out something new with art, and then that's the focus to show you off different things like animals and plants, and now mushrooms is another one. So there's another type of game being made here. It's done quite well, quite 7,400 backers on it. For me, first time I noticed it, I was like, it looks a lot like Triominoes because of the triangle tiles you place down, and then you have all these different cards, which I think the graphic design of the cards themselves isn't amazing. I think the focus is because of the art drawn on them, but the actual icons and stuff seems a bit hard to see. I don't know, by the shape of the card anyway, like 5-2. Hopefully they can make those stand out a bit more, because they're hard to tell exactly what you're looking at. I think those symbols should be a bit bigger, and the numbers as well. I think they're quite small from what I'm looking at. The cards aren't massive sized either. They're quite normal sized cards. Just to see in the hand as well. It's like quite hard to see. Are they good enough? That's just why the main thing I could pop out from that is like what would be an issue for people, because some people, I've played games with people and they just can't read. It's like they have to squint, or they forgot their glasses and they can't read just a simple symbol like that. They won't be able to tell. So it should be something that stands out and anyone can see easily. I think this version here, they've got this like deluxe version at the Kickstarter level. So the reason to get it now is pretty much just for these extra cards. So, but if you can wait for retail, then those 18 cards don't really matter. You can wait for that, I think, because overall, you got to get taxes and shipping afterwards. It costs £14 more for the extra cards with a deluxe box, some bags, and some art, which I don't know if that's a selling point for most people as a board game. I think that the main thing people want there is the actual extra cards, which it's quite a lot, £14 for 18 more cards. So I don't know about myself. I think that they've done these nice how to plays, which are actually from the designer of the game, so they go through it quite well. I think the game, it's quite simple enough to understand. It's like there's you do 2 actions a turn out of like 6 possible actions, which they're listing off now, which are quite easy to get into. There is like a almost done rulebook that looks quite good. You've got a handful of reviewers going through it, and they have a solo mode as well, which I don't really like these like solo modes where they're just like, oh, score as much points as you want in a turn. I prefer like a solo mode which is like got like a purpose. You've got a mission, like similar to a co-op game really. When it's a competitive game, I kind of just not really bother trying it, because the reason I'm playing it is to compete with other people to earn the points. For me, it's like if I'm competing to earn points against my own records, it's not a big convincing point for me to buy a game. I don't even know if I'll ever try a solo mode like that. I never bother. It's just something that just tacked on most of the time. It goes through another how to play for the solo, and then the pledge levels here, they're quite alright. They've got the one with the extra prints is even more. I think quite a lot to throw more down on these. I think that the base game might be alright, and the thing is, like, that's coming to retail, so it looks like you can just wait around a bit for that one. And I mean, that one's a bit ridiculous, £600 for a big wooden set one. It might be nice, but I don't know how many people have gone for that one. 41 people have gone for that, so convinced quite a few, because this is quite a new publisher really, so people are actually convinced to get that. Hopefully there's no issues in getting these produced the right way, because if it's a new company, hard to get right in your first time, everything. They do social goals, design has a bit of words, some more reviews. So overall, it's quite a well-made campaign. The shipping for most places is quite fair, I think, except for like rest of the world, Brazil, but that's generally what happens there, so nothing unusual. Again, taxes later, so for me, see how it goes with the taxes shipping later, but maybe I could wait for retail for this one, because like a game like, League of Dungeoneers from before, that one likely not to come to retail, but when a game says they'll probably come in retail, maybe I can just wait. Usually I don't have to bite the bullet and back it right now, because I've got options. Alright, so that's about that game. I think it looks pretty good. Let's move on to the next one. So this one, quite a hard way to talk about this one, to be honest, because I did put this game originally in like an anticipated games list for the year, right? Like I put it in there just like really because of what I was looking at, the basic information that's come out about the game at the time. I didn't really do much more digging past that. I kind of just stuck it there and went, yeah, that'll be okay to put on my list. It looks cool. It's one of the ones I'm looking forward to. Let's put it in there. And then I kind of did a bit more digging, I guess, is the best way to put it. So Outlandish Games, they made Block by Block before, and I didn't really know much about that game either. I kind of just went, alright, whatever, it doesn't matter. Didn't look into it. And then as I kind of did more digging after, and then when it came around to the campaign coming out, that's when a bit popped out, and that was this part here, and it got me, huh? That was my initial reaction. I was like, huh, what's that? So the first thing I was like, why is the flags upside down? And for me, I understand that putting a flag upside down is a sign of disrespect to countries. You should not put a Union Jack upside down. You should not put an American flag upside down, a Canadian flag, or a Chinese flag, And then they got the EU upside down, and then the only ones right side up is Australia, like they're having a joke because they're already upside down because at the bottom of the planet or whatever. But I thought that was just very strange, and like, why would they do that? There's no reason for that. It just seemed odd to me. And then I saw that the resist the AI machine, so they got the anti-AI logo, so their art is real, they're not made by AI, they don't like AI. So I already, I've covered that. I don't really care about that debate, about AI, but for me, this one was more standing out. I kind of didn't even see that until I saw that, actually. I was like, what's that? And it got me looking into this company a bit more, and I'm just, to put it bluntly, really, I think that they're just fascists. I don't know what else to say. That is the gist of their company, and not in just a point where they, just doing it with the board games. I mean, like, just outside of board games, and the people who are making this game, and you can see it here, like they're an activist. They are putting that up front, that's what they are, not, they're just a person making a game. And then I got a bit digging, and I saw that this company, the company making the game, they made Block by Block before this. And Block by Block, I didn't have any clue kind of what the game was, but I looked into it, and it is, what it actually is. It is a game about rioting in like the street and like destroying property and throwing Molotovs and things like that. And I thought, well, it's a topic for a game, right? Like this one is a topic for a game. It's animals defending against machines coming to attack them. But actually, no. They didn't make the Block by Block game because that's just a topic for a game. No, they made it because they believe in rioting and throwing Molotovs and damaging property in the street and fighting the police and things like that. They believe in all that, and they support that behaviour. You have to put it bluntly, that's what they do. And they did a bit more digging, and I saw that they were financially supporting people who have been arrested in protests and riots. They were defending criminals who got arrested or commit crimes at riots, and they publicly state this on their like social media page for this company. And for me, if I know that they are financially funding like hatred and riots and evil in the world, I'm not comfortable giving them my money because I know where my money's going, because I'm going to them and they're going to put that money towards just evil behaviour, and I just don't condone it. I don't support that, and I don't want to give my money to these fascists who just want to terrorise communities and actually support Molotov and cocktail throwing, car bombing people in the street during riots. I don't support that at all. So in the end, I kind of just went, no, it doesn't matter how good the game is. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter that it uses real art and not AI. It doesn't matter how many playthroughs people do. It doesn't matter if the game is good. It doesn't matter if it's a genre or a style that I actually enjoy, because my moral standing on it, it's much stronger. And I just would rather not be invested in a game that is just doing evil in the world like that. It's just something I don't want to support. And that's what I'm doing. And I just decided to cover it in this video, just because sometimes you need to speak out about these things and just say what you're feeling. And to be honest, what they're saying on their social media page, which is not the private ones of the people making the game, no, I'm talking about the ones for the actual company. It's on their page. So they made their block by block game, not as like a satirical game. No, they did it because they actually supported rioting behaviour. I don't do it. I don't want to. So I moved on and didn't support. I don't want to support this game. That's my point there. So moving on, a bit more lighthearted. Dragon Eclipse. You might have heard this one. A big game from Awakened Realms. I think it's another big one, really. There's quite a lot from Awakened Realms I haven't actually backed more recently, actually. I know I didn't get ISS Vanguard or Stalker or like any of the Great Wall stuff. I've got the Tainted Grail new stuff to come, and the story dice that they made. I think they're pretty good, because I think Awakened Realms always puts out a good product at the end of the day, really. They've never been disappointed with what I got. I think they always make good quality games. I'm still looking forward to the new Nemesis when that comes out later in this year. But this is their current one, and when they did the big announcements, I think this one was probably second after New Nemesis, and then I think the dice, and then I think Stalker was at the bottom for me. I didn't really have anything into that one, so that's generally where I went with that. But this one, it was marketed as like 1 to 2 player solo co-op, so I was quite, that sounds good, because for me, a 2-player co-op would be pretty cool, but it just, in the end, I kind of thought this one seemed a bit more like the 2-player might be tacked on a bit. It might really be more of a solo experience rather than focusing on the co-op. They go through different modes, like you've got your campaign and then a 1 versus 1 mode, and then like a roguelite type, like you just do a random mission like that's randomly generated in some way, which it sounds okay, but nothing that's convinced me to just go and throw my money at it just yet, I guess. I did get in the following to before and still didn't back it to get the free follow gift or whatever. I didn't really care that much. It's not like there's anything that's wowed me with this one in particular. I think I was more convinced by games like ISS Vanguard and things like that. And just a few things to point out on this page. The cover indie, they've done quite well. It's Awakened Realms. I mean, they always do quite well. They always get the games out there. They, always, even if they're late, they're all right with it, because they can talk their way out of it a bit better than other companies, I think. They say twice as much, first edition. I mean, does that mean that they're going to do another one which might be fixing the problems? Because I know Awakened Realms games can have a few problems and then they have to, like a video game, patch it out type of thing. They did that. They've done that with Tainted Grail. They've done that with Etherfields. They do that with other games too. It's like, maybe you can wait and get a better version of the game later down the line as well. And I think one thing I've had an issue with on this campaign is these quotes right here, and this is 100% I enjoyed it, not even a question, which is from Alex Board Game Co. Now, if you know who he is, then you know that Alex works for GameFound, so his quotes here, they shouldn't even be here. I don't think, not even a question, they shouldn't be here. This is an Awakened Realms game, and GameFound is owned by Awakened Realms. The Awakened Realms group is owning the board game company and owning the pledge manager and owning this crowdfunding platform. So he works for the company that are making and selling this game. His quotes shouldn't be on here. Quite simply put, he shouldn't have quotes. It's a big red flag if you've got, the chief marketing officer for GameFound having his quotes about the game for a game on a website that he works for a game company he also is working with. It seems just very odd. Like, they shouldn't be putting his quotes. He can still cover the game on his channel. That's perfectly fine, I think, if he discloses his relationship and then states, this is what I'm doing, I'm going to cover the game, and then they market it on this page as like an ad, like, direct from Awakened Realms, really. That'd be fine for me. But it's not put in that way, it's just, I 100% I enjoyed it. Yeah, well, you're saying that, but you can't say 100% I hated it, because they're paying your bills, right? You're working for the GameFound. They are giving money to you, so you can't say anything bad about them. So you shouldn't even be quoted here. And then there's another quote down here as well. After they go through all the different content, which says why you should get the big edition instead of the small one. Again, these will come to retail, like especially this one. So if you just want the game, the cheap version seems like a good deal. Go through to campaign. Again, another little campaign. Did this need to be a campaign? I'm not sure, but they've made it into one. And then they go again. Alex, next comment, next quote. We have a bunch of cute miniatures. We got gorgeous art presentation. Now, is he saying that as we as in GameFound, Awakened Realms, or is that's just the way he was speaking in the video, and he's gone, this is what he's got in front of him, we have got this. That's just a bit odd. Again, another odd quote. The other one clearly shouldn't have been there, because like 100% I enjoyed it. Well, yeah, but you're working with the people making the game, you shouldn't be quoted him. And then this one, we is like, it's a bit mixed. It's like you can't tell if it's an ad or it's a legit quote. And I think it is a quote from the video he made, but he shouldn't have his quotes here, in my opinion. It shouldn't be there. Then you got quite a few other things about difference between the different versions, and they go through all different minis and different cards. So, and I think the arts and the minis are really good on this game. They look really nice. And they go through quite a lot, and then they got like stretch goals on top, and all these different dragons and like monsters. Very Pokemon-esque, as people say, like, Gyadon. Yeah, it could be a Pokemon in the future, that name. Then they have this like booster pack system where you kind of like open them up as you go, but they're not like ones that are randomized, that you're always going to get the same cards. So don't know, it's a bit odd to do that way, but it's kind of like a legacy experience in the end, isn't it, when they do it like that? But you can still play it and replay it. There's different foil cards you'll have, so a bit shiny. That makes it a bit alright, I guess. A bit more value to the game to make it look better. But they kind of go through a lot here, and then they have some more quotes. But it's like Mark Street, but he does like the paid promotion, so that's a paid video. So you sprinkle the ones in that are pretty much ads, because that's a paid promotion video, and then you go through there's a few from other gamers who've got a copy, but everyone who's been sent a copy, they're already on like this specific like mailing list of people who get review copies and things like that. They're not your average person, but I know there's got to be a limit to that. You gotta have some people to cover it, I assume, but with this one in particular, there's it's just a bit odd they put a lot of Alex's stuff at the top there, like early on, because then you go through the videos and you have the Sheer and the Mark Street. Those ones are both paid promotion videos, because that's what happens when you load them up. It'll pop up on the wherever it pops up now. It pops up on the screen, paid promotion, which is that's what they've said they've done. They've done it. But then every other channel doesn't do paid promotion, but they've all got the copy for free, haven't they? That's the limit there, which if you don't have to put paid promotion for that, that's okay. But then they've got Alex again, his whole review. I mean, he does say, I 100% enjoyed it again, the same quote, but, you know, it doesn't say, you know, he is the CMO of GameFound. You know, he says he works for GameFound in the video. It's not a sponsored video. It's not in his description. It should be a lot more, you know, stuff like his video, I think, should be, you know, a different type of video. He should do a how to play. He should do this is what the game's like. He shouldn't be reviewing the game, because like there's already a grey area where if he's reviewing a game that's going to be on GameFound because he is working at GameFound, but this is the next level. This is a game from Awaken Realms, the company that owns GameFound and created GameFound, and he's making a video about that game when he works for GameFound. He shouldn't be making any videos reviewing it, or it should, at least if he's making a review, it shouldn't even be on this page. It should be under like Awaken Realms' own content. It shouldn't be under a review section, which is what this section is about. But that's just a general observation I had here. I mean, there's quite a lot of reviews and stuff on this game. It goes through co-op down here quite low down. That's why I kind of think co-op's a bit tacked on, because it comes down quite late in the video. And then they cover what this collectible adventure game that they're kind of calling this. And then you've got another miniature showcase, Sundrop. It's quite a lot to scroll through. And then they go through themselves and how good they are. So at the end, shipping's quite low down. It should be higher up, I think. But shipping, if you get to here, again, that is collected during the campaign, it says. And then you've got your shipping for me, quite fair, but generally it doesn't seem like it's going to be a big massive game. You know, there's a few all in here, there's quite a lot of boxes and stuff, but I think the overall, you know, the game might be good, might be cool. Just a bit odd while they do the advertising here though with Alex. I think that shouldn't be there. I think someone who knows that, you know, I think it's a red flag. You know, they shouldn't be advertising the game with their own employees. That's a bit weird. Yeah. Right, let's end on a little positive one. And that's this one, Hello Kitty. Yeah, Hello Kitty. The girly mascot, which been around for decades. Sanrio is quite huge. This one I'm kind of looking at because of my wife, really, because she's a big Sanrio, Hello Kitty person. She does like that sort of stuff, you know, that cutesy stuff. And just as a general, this game looked okay. I wasn't too sure about it. They did this early bird and newsletter thing, which it kind of hurt me a bit, because it was like they did the early bird and then you'd have to come in and, you know, if you back the game in the first day, you get another copy of the game, which is the retail copy. You get an extra copy. So if you back the deluxe, you get the retail one, which is pretty cool. You get 2 copies. But then they also did like a newsletter where if you had to put on the newsletter before the game campaign came out, you get an extra character. So I'm like, I think I've missed that because I only joined the newsletter afterwards. So it's like, well, you can't get everything then unless you pay more money. But they had so many different things. It didn't really advertise the game too well, because it's not like I was following the project, but didn't know you had to go to another newsletter on the outside. So it's like all these different like methods to try and dig in and get you to back it now. But you know, I missed one of them because it's like I didn't know there was 2 different bonuses. The game's very simple in the end, though. You just play a tile like a Carcassonne and move along, pick up the pieces that you want as you go, place them on your cards, and then score your points when you've finished them. So it's a very simple game. It's nothing too fancy, but something that, you know, good for like people who aren't that good at board games. Quite a small, light game. Definitely good for children and things like that. You know, they've got all these, you know, they're going to do like a kind of fake stretch goals, to be honest, because you're just saying, oh yeah, he's Karopi, throwing him in. He's on the cover of the box. I mean, you're not going to have all these characters, so they're just like fake stretch goals in the end. So it's like, you might as well just not do stretch goals at that point, because you just pretend, because you're all going to add all the characters in, because if they don't add all the characters in, they won't make much money, because people like having more characters in their games, you know. And again, you got the retail copy box and the normal one. It's like, well, do you get all the characters in all of them, or what? Because you got 2 different boxes with different characters on. Very weird. Some of it is anyway. It just could do a bit better on this one where they've made it, but it is a bit, with like Binding of Isaac. It's quite like retail heavy type of thing. Something that's like quite doesn't look too like deluxify. You've got the deluxe version, which adds in like it's like acrylic standees instead of cardboard ones. But I don't think. And then this is the one that if you missed out, this one, like, you miss out on this guy if you didn't follow their newsletter, which is a bit annoying. I know I'm getting more annoyed about this, about Hello Kitty game, than other things, haven't I? But just one of those things. It's just I like some light games like this. It's something that you can easily get people into. I think Sanrio and Hello Kitty and things like that, quite popular. Can really pull new people into a thing like that, rather than something like with demons and dragons and things like that, because people are like, oh, that's a bit weird. But when it's something like cutesy, you can get a lot of people in, like any gender, any age really. It's something it's quite inoffensive, so I think that's a positive for the game. Unfortunately, shipping hubs, blah blah blah, VAT and taxes coming in. Hello Kitty's not immune to the tax man, so you've got costs for the shipping's quite high. Maybe it is worth waiting for the retail version from that, to be honest. It's quite a lot of money overall for that one, but we'll see how it goes, because it's got like a month left. Maybe it's worth getting. I'm not sure yet. It does look a bit too basic. It says 8+, but maybe it could be 4+. It looks that simple to me. But if it's anything a bit spicy, because I do like the games from Roberta Taylor. She made like Creature Comforts, and I think that's a really good game. Like some of those kids table board games, really good. There's a lot more thinking. That one I think has an 8+, but I think that one, it's probably higher than an 8+, because you need to use a lot more of your brain and a lot more focus, whereas this one looks like it's really basic. But even then, it's a 45-minute game. I think that, is it really that complicated? It's 45 minutes seems a lot long for the type of game it is, but I'll see a bit more about it. Same with a lot of these games I've covered today. Look a bit more about it, see what I think. I think also like League of Dungeoneers, probably that's the pick of the day. I think that one's probably the best of the 5 games I've looked at today. Best back anyway on Kickstarter level, I think. It's the one that will be hardest to get later down the line, and it's the one with, I think, the most value for the cost that they're selling it. You quite get a lot of their gameplay for that. So that's my pick of the day. Thank you very much for listening. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and leave any thoughts you have on the comments, any games you'd like me to talk about, and any other thoughts on Kickstarter, crowdfunding in general, and what you think about it and what you think about these games. Thanks for listening. Bye.